as long as he knows where she's at, as long as he knows she's at work or she's at home, well, then he wants to go golfing as much as he can. He wants to be out with friends. He wants to stay overtime at work, not because he needs the money, but because he wants to be away. He wants to be out playing with his toys, and his ministry or his golf or his job is, his toys. And so as much as he can be away from his wife, then he's away from his wife as long as he knows where she's at. And, if she disappears, he'll get focused on one thing, just like a little boy. If he can't find his mommy, man, everything stops. Like he's been playing with his toys for the last couple hours, hadn't paid no mind to his mom because she's right there sitting in the room where he can see her. But man, if he looks up and she's not there, everything stops. Mommy, where's mommy? Where's mommy? Where's mommy? And nobody can console him until mommy comes and picks him up. So that's why we have guys that treat their wife horrible for 20 years, and the wives finally break, and the wives file divorce or get a boyfriend or just disappear, and the men are like, oh my God, I got to get my wife back. I can't believe what I did. I was such a horrible husband. Help me get my wife back. I'll do anything to get my wife back. And that's where the man needs to get teaching and get education and have accountability and, come to a husband and wife, come to a 5-day marriage intensive and be on phone calls and watch DVDs and learn, what happens to women who do get broke and react like that. And then the husband has that knee-jerk reaction, and thank God they have the knee-jerk reaction. But what's sad for no women on this call, because you've been educated, but for women who have never been educated, they'll let their husband come back. And they'll like, oh, my husband was so sincere. He promised me he would change. But the husband can't change. He has no new information. He has nobody holding him accountable. Certainly his wife's not able to hold him accountable. She doesn't know what to do. And he's got no new information. And so that's why we tell wives, it's like, look, got to get your husband involved in the ministry so he can get new information and we can help you hold him accountable.
Not only involved in the ministry, but, he can't dictate the ministry on what, we're going to teach and how we're going to teach it and all that kind of stuff. He has to be able to be teachable in this journey here. So, and wives, you got to be teachable too. It's really important that you're teachable too. Women will sit back and allow their husband to continue to abuse them and mistreat them, and let them call the shots. And you're not to get any progress when that happens at all. And we've seen cases over our 20 years where we've had couples come back and forth off and on throughout the ministry, and they don't get anywhere. They don't work, or they get very little progress. So willing to accept second best, third best, or, but they never make it to number one, never make it to greatness. But we've got to be on board and being teachable, both the husband and the wife. And we don't like couples to dictate our ministry and how we're going to minister. And we've had that. We've had husbands that go, well, this is what I think, and this, and wives too. We've had both. And so just be teachable. Let's stay on board, both husband and wife. Get the information. Let's move forward. So, amen.
This is Robin. Can I ask another question?
Yeah, let me finish up on this one here. So with the Arrested Development for women, we'll revert back to Kathy and I's examples. I was extremely arrested in my development, and women are usually a little more mature than their husbands. It's been that way since elementary school. But it's not like light years more mature than their husbands in most cases. Now, women are also, we never quite catch up, So if a woman marries a guy 10 years older than her, they might be at the same level, emotionally, or 5 years older than her. But then also women, a lot of times they mature more than their husbands because they are the ultimate responsibility for the children. So you have a guy arrested in his development, and he's at work, and his wife is with the children. And so he gets off work, And instead of going home, he's like, I'm going to stop at the convenience store and have a soda and flirt with the girls at the counter and just take my time. I deserve it. I've had a long day at work. And so what is he? He's a little boy out playing with his toys. He knows mommy's at home taking care of the kids. And I'm referring to it in a facetious way. You know, that's the way he's looking at life, is that, you know, he's a little boy that's out playing. And, hey, it's the responsible female. That's a better way to say it. The responsible female is at home with the children. Well, what would happen if he was to come home and their police and fire truck, and he comes up and goes, what's going on? What's going on? They go, who are you? I live in this house here. Where have you been? So what do you mean, where have I been? My gosh, we found your children. We found your 4-year-old playing down by the creek, and we rescued him before he fell in. We found your 8-year-old about 25 feet up in this tree, and your 3-year-old was going down the street knocking on everybody's doors asking them for cookies. And what does this guy say? Where's my wife? In other words, where's my mommy? Where's the only responsible adult in this household that was supposed to be here with the children? Well, obviously, that's not going to happen. Why? Because she has to be responsible, so she's home with the children. So women more mature, more often than not, more than their husbands because of that also. You know, once in a blue moon, we'll find a couple where the wife is just completely immature and she's never there for the kids and the husband's doing all the parenting, but that's very seldom does that happen. We had one couple many years ago out of Atlanta, and the wife wanted to be a actress. And literally, her husband was with the children all the time. He worked, and the kids were at school and had babysitters, and when he got off work, he got home, and he had the kids, and his wife was gone all the time, and we never could rescue her. We could never get her out of that. We never talked to her. We never had, you know, we couldn't get her on the phone, and I said to him, well, at least you're going to have full custody of the kids, you know, because, you know, she's not around. You don't even have to divorce your wife. You've got full custody of the kids by default. I mean, it's not like you got to be divorced or anything, you know. So, again, it wouldn't have been right for him to divorce her. But I said, look, at least you have the kids all the time. You know, at least she's not taking the kids out and doing bad stuff with them. You know, so women in their arrested development. So I was very emotionally immature. Well, Kathy would yell, scream, and throw things. So you know, I'm 2 years old. You know, I'm manipulating her. I'm manipulating her and being a control freak and hurting her feelings. And she's, Joel, please, you know, love me. And I say, no, you know, leave me alone, get away from me, quit harassing me. So she's yelling, screaming, throwing things. Well, how old is that? You know, that's a little girl, a little 3, 4, 5-year-old girl just throwing a temper tantrum. And so what happens with women in arrested development, they either go from either overly nice to where they never confront their husband, they just pray for them. The church teaches women to be in their arrested development on the nice side. And the church teaches women, look, just pray for your husband, submit to him, follow his leadership, respect him. And all that is doing is they're saying, look, be the nice little girl that just prays for her daddy, basically. And then the other side is the wife that it goes ballistic. And Kathy went back and forth. Kathy was, you know, for 3 weeks, she'd be doing this sweet little girl thing, you know, they'll try to love me and pray for me and submit to me and respect me and follow my leadership and all that stuff that is wrong to do when you have a bad husband like I was. Just made me worse. But then once a month, she would flip out, yell, scream, and throw things. Well, that didn't do any good. You know, that was just bat in the wind, because now I could point at how crazy my wife was. And so we were quite the scene, that's for sure. So, you know, men and women both in their arrested development. Now, the mother-son issues is where the intensity comes in. The intensity is, I've got nothing to give my wife. She is reaching for something that's impossible. I mean, when a guy's in his mother-son issues, he either is full of rage, and the reason men that beat their wife up or kill their wife and they end up in prison, it's because of mother-son issues. It's either a very intense rage when their wife is trying to get them to be a good husband, and again, it's just a rage. And, you know, maybe they'll run out the door and get away, you know, disappear, they'll drive away, they'll go hide somewhere or whatever. Or it's this feeling of complete helplessness. Like, I've got nothing for this woman. I can't meet her needs. It's impossible to meet her needs. I would tell Kathy in our bad days, I say, nobody could meet your needs. Your needs are impossible to meet.
You're a bottomless pit of need is what he'd say.
Yeah, bottomless pit of need. And where was that coming from? Was Kathy doing anything wrong? No. Was she needy? No. She had a horrible husband. And she wasn't doing anything wrong by asking me to love her. But I had nothing to give her because of the mother-son issues. So her need of my love, which is what a woman's supposed to have, desire for her husband, her desire for me to love her, she's reaching into an empty bucket because I gave it away to my mother. And nobody was there. I had nothing to give. And so because of that, I felt like I cannot do this. It wasn't even like I won't do this. It was I can't do this. I'm not capable of doing this. It's impossible. Nobody could meet your needs. I'd run out the door sometimes. She'd chase me, literally. I'd run around the car. She'd chase me around the car. I'd be yelling, "Leave me alone! Get away from me!" She'd